bit of time. I am, anybody who's worked on the grants committee when I was helping to facilitate the grants committee knows that one of the things I actually do is I do like to start on time, which for us, you don't have the agenda as 5:45, so we finish on time. So I'm pretty dogged about that, so we will be moving our way through. It's wonderful to see so many smiling faces. Missed opportunity, as Shab pointed out to me, is it's Galentine's Day, right? So how did we miss the connection as a group of women getting together to talk about something wonderful like philanthropy? What a great thing about hearts and giving, right? So here we are. I want to welcome you. My name is Jane Durkin. I've been, a member of Impact for 7 years. And I have been on the board for 6 of those years. A lot of time doing the grants, and then this last year, and I have one more year of leading the charge here, and it's been an absolute pleasure. This is our 8th year of delivering grants, right? So I'll keep my opening comments and annual business meeting stuff really short, so we'll get right to probably the more fun stuff. We're going to have a keynote address from one of our new board members, Kathy Young, from the Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance. And we try every year at this meeting, because it's kind of the kickoff of our grants, the grant cycle and everything, is to expand everybody's brains a little bit onto what are the needs of the community out there that we're trying to service. So that's where we'll get there. And then I'm just so excited about this. We have Meals on Wheels, who received our grant in 2022, one of the community grants, to come and give us an update on the impact of that grant. And Shab and Dr. Neda have got to do something very similar. Well, actually, you guys gave us the impact at the gala event. So it's really good to see, even with our, not the large grants, but our secondary grants, the seed money that's giving for folks to be successful. We'll do a quick walkthrough of the grants process. Terry's going to get up and talk about that this year as we kick that off. And then we'll talk about Stephanie will talk about our membership plans for 2024. And the reason why you're all here, give the total amount of dollars we're actually going to be giving out this year. And I hope you're as wowed as I am, because it's a pretty wonderful number, and we're going to really have we'll be making an impact here in Contra Costa and Alameda County. So one of the things that always grounds me is, why did I join Impact? Why am I here? It's really when you look at the names of those organizations that we've got inside this heart. The ones that are in purple are ones that have received money from us in some way, shape, or fashion over the years, and everyone else. But it's really gets us back. We're a group of women that are coming together, right, to collectively really make an impact on our community. And I think I get so much pride out of, Terry's going to be walking a little bit, what the grant seed money that we've provided, what the leveraging impact that has done for for the organizations that have received those grants. And I find it absolutely inspiring. So it's always good to remember, right? Why are we here and who are we helping? Okay. Updates. Welcome all of you returning members, and especially welcome to all the new members. This is the first year for some of you. Welcome. I hope you continue to come back. We've got a retention rate, I think this year is about 80%, 80, 85, which is, when you think about people renewals and all that kind of stuff, it's great. So it's wonderful to see so many of you coming back. We'll reveal, what's the level of impact we're going to have to the community that's around us, and you're going to be so excited, I just know it. I also want to remind you that, as our membership grows, our impact grows, but we have some incredibly generous members who've actually enabled some really pretty neat grants for us to be able to give out to the community. And that's because of the success that we've had, I think, within the grant selection process, and the organizations that we're giving money to, and the impact that they're having. So that's good. But always a reminder, we're a collective giving organization, which is so fun, because everybody gives $1,000, and then we all multiply, and so we get $100,000 or $130,000 or whatever it happens to be to give out, which is just wonderful. But remember, that entire $1,000 that you give as your membership, that goes right out to the nonprofits. All the other work, and it seems kind of mundane or silly or whatever, but putting on an event like this, or having folks come in to help set up, people reviewing and reading the grants, people with just a little bit of finance background coming in to help with either the financial review of the grants or helping us with treasury, right? Being a treasurer for the organization. We need your help. I've got boards set up out there, and they have like little dry erase markers on there that you can just write your name, and then you say, oh, I want to go over here instead. You can do that really easy. Just keep that pen in hand, write up. If you have any questions on the things you're getting committed to, don't worry. Somebody will reach out to you or reach out to us. And honestly, I'll take as little as I can help for 2 hours right before the next event, or I can do this. We take volunteers in any shape or size. Volunteers are what makes the engine that makes this organization run. So would really love to have a few. And the only other pitch I'm going to make is, especially with this organization, because we come from all over the place, right? We're pretty diverse locations, and our backgrounds may look a little bit similar. We may all look not that diverse, but the locations that we're from are from all over. I have gotten, in my 6 years of actually volunteering and signing up, I get more out of that. The people that I've met, it breeds a sense of community that I think you get a lot more out of than you put into it. And I know that's cliche, but I'm just telling you from my experience, that's what it's been. It's been wonderful getting to know and working with people. So I encourage you, if you feel like you're a little isolated, you want to find a community, we got something for you here. So come on. Okay, and now the quick business, the board update. You will notice last July, we did a update on our bylaws because the bylaws hadn't been updated since we started. So whatever, 2016, so over those 7 or 8 years. So upon reading them, we decided we should probably have the bylaws reflect what we actually do. So we did that in July, and all of you approved that. One of the other things that Wendy Steele, who, for folks who came to the health seminar in the fall, she gave a little presentation. It was in asking her, what are some things that we can do differently? One of the first things she said is, your board's too small. So we had 13 people on the board, and we had a limit on the number of people that we could have to the board to 15. And she said, for an organization that's all volunteers, you need a bigger board. So we put that out to you for a vote, and it did get approved to up the number of people we can have on the board to 25. Not planning on filling 25 slots for that, but we did move all the way up to 15, and you guys approved the new members coming in. So instead of 13, we've got 15 board members, and I can't wait to introduce you to them. But unfortunately, neither Claudia or Pat are here, but big thank you to folks rolling off the board. Pat Adams, unfortunately, is, I don't know, she had a broken leg, so skiing accident. Can't keep a good gal down, but I think this one is actually keeping her down for a little bit. And then Claudia Polidori is leaving as the governance chair. And my other plug for volunteers, see, it's not a life sentence. You can come in, you can do like a couple, 3 years, help us out, and then you ride off into the sunset and do something else, right? Or volunteer and be on grants committee again. But anyway, so thank you to folks who have been helping. And the only other thing I'm going to put another plug in is highlight our need for a treasurer. God love Debbie Vargas, the treasurer, right there. No, and I mean it. I just love her to death, and everything that she has done for this organization is phenomenal, and she deserves a break. And so I think every meeting I've been at, I'd ask for somebody who has a little financial background, and you know what's going to end up happening? I'm going to be the treasurer next year because I'm not getting anybody to stand up and help out. But we will definitely have some relief for Debbie next year. But I'm hoping. Anyone has any interest or any financial? I don't even think you need that much financial. You just need to read a balance sheet, and anybody that's in business knows how to read a balance sheet. And right. And we can give a scholarship too, so we can make it all work. But anyways, and Jylyn is always very helpful. But it's wonderful to have both of them. Okay, so here's your board for 2024, Yahoo. We've got a lot of similar folks here. So Wendy, Denise is moving in to be a vice president, which is awesome because that means she's potentially going to become president next year. Sylvia, who's not here, she's on the East Coast, but she's like our secretary and jack of all trades. She does all sorts of things, including filling in for Alexis, who's out with twins. Little Alexis, that little gal has had twins. Pretty amazing. And Debbie and Jylyn, who do our treasurer work. Stacy Stevens, who's looking for some help to help her with IT. Stephanie, wonderful, you're going to hear from Stephanie, doing a great job in membership. Riffy, who's doing an awesome job in grant and carrying on the helm with that. And then Connie, who's moved from events over into governance. Now, the ones with the red stars are new to our board. Yahoo! It's so good to have. So we have Terry Barr, who's actually, I feel like she's been on the board for the last year because she's come to all the meetings and she's just an amazing contributor. And Nancy McElroy are here for joining in the grants committee, and that's great. And Diane Rathel, who like jumped in with 2 feet because she's the events chair. We used to have a co-chair, so the events chair, and she helped put this event on tonight. So, you know, yay! And it is my real pleasure to actually introduce to you our 4th board member, new board member, Kathy Young, and she is also our keynote speaker. So she is the CEO, the first CEO, right, for Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance. We are so fortunate as an organization to have Kathy agree to join our board. She's been just already in a couple meetings just giving us some great ideas and great input and great contacts. She knows how nonprofits are run. She knows how to run nonprofits, what they need, what we need, and I'm so thrilled to have her a part of the group. She will be joining membership with Ms. Stephanie, but she's here to talk to you tonight about hopefully expanding our ideas about what are the key needs of nonprofits in our areas and what are the needs of the communities out there. So without further ado, Kathy.
Thank you, Jane. Hi, I'm Kathy Young, and I'm the co-founder, president, and CEO of Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance. I'm going to get my little bearings here. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know why. I've gone over this like 150 times. Not quite that much, but pretty close, it seems. So let's see. Here we are. So welcome to the big reveal. This is my first time, and it's exciting to be a part of this special event. I'm so glad you're all here. Is there anyone else here for the first time? Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're all here. Yay, it's always nice to know I'm not the only one. And I want to say thank you to the Impact 100 board for making me feel so welcome. And so I'm going to get started. And I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about the Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance, then what some of the big challenges are that are facing our communities, a few of the innovative solutions that are happening, and finally, a few ways that you can get involved and help. So this year, Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. And we began with the idea of nonprofits coming together to share information and resources. I had a problem, and I knew somebody nearby knew the answer, and I didn't know who they were, and it made me crazy. So we invited everyone we knew in the nonprofit community together, and that first meeting, you could tell something was happening there. So our mission today is to provide advocacy, collaboration, and education to strengthen the nonprofit organizations enriching our communities. I always say that behind every nonprofit is a love story. And it was at our very first meeting that I fell in love with the nonprofit community as a whole. I love working with and being surrounded by people who have a passion to make the world a better place. We achieve our mission through 4 key pillars. that go? Yes. So the first is our educational programs. We continue that on. We hold 10 free community programs. We have all sorts of other educational programs as well. And participants form lasting connections leading to collaborative efforts that extend well beyond the meeting room. That networking part is as valuable as the knowledge that we provide as well. And then we have our Tri-Valley Nonprofit Fund grants, in which we provide $100,000 worth of grants each year to nonprofits that serve the Tri-Valley area. We raise that money and give it away as practically as fast as it comes in, trying to get just a little bit ahead of it to take some of the tension off, but it's fun. Then we have, 2 years ago, we opened the Common Point Nonprofit Center, which is our nonprofit co-working space and community resource center where nonprofits come together and they actually have office space and drop-in space and cubicles and all sorts of ways that we can work together and have. We have virtual members too for nonprofits who just need a conference room. And, okay, that's going a little wacky, so. Okay, so we have that, and then we have our fourth and final pillar is the Anti-Poverty Collaborative, and that is represents our commitment to tackling one of the biggest challenges in our community, which is poverty. This initiative is about bringing awareness to poverty in our area. As in the Tri-Valley, it can look different than it does other places, and we are often ignored out there, and then creating sustainable solutions that address the root causes of poverty. Each of these pillars represents a crucial aspect of TVNPA, and together they make a comprehensive approach to supporting and empowering nonprofits and addressing the needs in our community. So, on this slide, you'll see that we serve all types of nonprofits. This is just a sample. You'll note that Impact 100 is a member and has been for a while now. Okay, there's something weird going on up here every now and then, so sorry. We're grateful to have them as a member, and I am thrilled to belong as part of this group. Impact 100 represents one of the founding principles of TVNPA, which is coming together to make an impact. And so, with all of you being here, I want to thank each of you for coming together to make impact in your communities as well. So where things are post-pandemic. As part of the Anti-Poverty Collaborative work, we produce a report called Just Getting By in the Tri-Valley. Last year, we updated the data to be able to get a better understanding of the impact the pandemic had on poverty in our area. Even though the report focuses specifically on Dublin, Livermore, and Pleasanton, the report has a lot of data on trends that are affecting the Bay Area. This leads us to the top concerns affecting our areas in 2024. There are definitely more than 3 issues, but these are the issues that have risen to the top of our list. So the first one I'd like to shed some light on is affordable housing. And the data shows that housing is getting worse. For young adults, finding affordable housing in the East Bay can feel like an insurmountable challenge. This lack of affordable housing hampers their ability to establish financial independence and build a stable future. I have 2 boys that are 21 and 23, and they're living at home, so it's impacting our future as well. Seniors are also disproportionately affected by the lack of affordable housing. Many seniors live on fixed income, and they often struggle to afford rising rent prices or finding suitable housing options that meet their needs. Immigrants who contribute immensely to the cultural and economic fabric of our community often face additional barriers in accessing affordable housing. Language barriers, lack of documentation, and discrimination can make it challenging to navigate the housing market and secure safe and affordable housing options for themselves and their families. And then there's low-income families already struggling to make ends meet in an increasingly expensive region. They bear the brunt of the affordable housing crisis. High rent prices consume a disproportionate amount of their income, leaving little left over for other necessities like healthcare, education, or savings. Recently in Livermore, we have a new low-income housing project going, and it was determined that the maximum a family of 5 could earn to qualify for this low-income housing is $128,000. So, yeah, doesn't that seem insane? Yeah. And then to touch on the unhoused. According to the latest Alameda County point-in-time data, the number of unhoused people in Alameda County increased from 2017 to 2022 from 5,629 to 9,747. The majority, 73% of unhoused residents in this county live outside, in cars, or otherwise without access to shelter. You want to know what works best for homelessness? A home. That is the answer, you know. When it comes to innovative programs, let's see, where am I? Okay, yes, we're on the right page. Okay, when it comes to innovative programs for housing, there are a number of things happening right here in the Bay Area. First, collaborations between governments, nonprofit organizations, and private sectors have shown significant progress. Governments are implementing policies such as rent control, inclusionary zoning, and tax incentives to encourage affordable housing developments. Nonprofits are providing essential support services to vulnerable populations, from temporary shelters to permanent supportive housing. And private developers are increasingly incorporating affordable units into their projects through partnerships or incentive programs. Secondly, innovative housing models are emerging to address specific needs within the community. This includes tiny homes, co-housing, and shared equity programs. Technological advances are also streamlining processes and reducing costs in housing construction and management. And grassroots movements and advocacy are amplifying the voices of those affected by the housing crisis, leading to policy changes and increased public awareness. Community land trusts, tenant unions, and housing cooperatives are empowering residents to have a stake in their housing futures. So by continuing to support and implement these strategies, we can work toward a future where everyone has access to a safe and affordable and dignified housing. You know, it shows that housing works best. The nicer a place is to live, studies show that the housing works better. So if you put someone in a dark apartment in a hole somewhere, it's a good chance it's not going to work out. But if you can provide people a nice place to live, they're going to do what they can to be able to stay there and sustain that. But what is working? Whoops, that's too far. Okay, so first, this is where I'm going, yeah. First, I'm happy to report that nonprofit Abode Services last week celebrated the grand opening of the Doug Ford Community Apartments, a 90-unit permanent supportive housing development in Fremont for seniors, half of whom were formerly unhoused. I think about those homeless seniors out there. Oh my God, I get upset when I'm in an uncomfortable bed, and I just couldn't even imagine. And this is great news, and we need to see more of this. Now we're going to talk about Goodness Village. Goodness Village is a tiny home community in Livermore with 28 houses from formerly unhoused residents, and the ability to add an additional 60 homes, which they're fundraising for right now, and then another 60 after that. So there's some scale there. Scaling is hard in this area. Goodness Village not only provides housing, but critical supportive services, community resources, and activities that encourage relationship building and connection. And connection is key. All of that needs to be in place, too, to have a successful home environment. We also have in Berkeley the Youth Spirit Awards, which is a 12-month transitional housing for youth ages 18 to 25 in Berkeley. They started in 2007 as a response to challenges faced by Alameda County's transitional age youth, who were impacted by adversity, economic, and housing challenges. They provide holistic engagement, intervention, and opportunity, offering transitional housing, healing, personal development, and belonging. Okay, so we're going to talk about economic security, inflation, and the cost of living. And so many folks in the Bay Area are navigating a tightrope of economic security with inflation and the cost of living cranking up the tension. Here are some hard numbers to paint the picture. According to the Insight Center for Community Economic Development, a family of 4 living in Alameda County needs to pull in at least $123,080 a year. To hit that number, someone needs to be earning $58.96 an hour for a 40-hour work week. So let that sink in for a moment. Especially when you consider that that's almost 4 times the hourly wage of someone living at the federal poverty level. That's what it takes to just cover the basics: a roof over your head, food on the table, and maybe a little left over for unforeseen hiccups that life likes to throw at us. As costs continue to outpace wages, more and more Californians will be only an emergency away from long-term financial precarity. Even in families with 1 or more working adults, almost 1 in 5 households in Alameda County and 1 in 4 households in Contra Costa County cannot make ends meet. In fact, over 32% of households make under $100,000. And we just told you what it takes, right? And 14.3% are living on less than $50,000. In a place as expensive as the Tri-Valley, people are literally making choices between childcare, housing, medicine, and food. Despite the economic roller coaster of the last few years, we've seen some stability in poverty rates, largely thanks to the government help like tax credits and eviction moratoriums. Some of those are being lifted right now. These programs were lifesavers for many, especially our kids, who actually saw the poverty rates drop. But as the pandemic fades, so does the support, just when inflation and economic insecurity hit. Even with the economic gains, the number of people living below the poverty line in the Tri-Valley is sobering. We're talking about thousands of individuals and families who are struggling to make ends meet. And let's not forget about the disparities among us. Poverty hits our communities of color, our children, and our older adults the hardest. Okay, so what is working? After delving into some of the challenges, let's pivot to a brighter note. And there's a beacon of hope on the horizon. And I'll just talk about universal basic income. That's one of my favorite programs that's out there. It's also known as UBI. So UBI is providing a crucial safety net for individuals and families facing economic challenges. By ensuring a regular, unconditional sum of money, UBI empowers recipients to cover basic needs like housing, food, and care. In 2021, the City of Oakland launched Oakland Resilient Families, which is a partnership between the Mayors for Guaranteed Income and the nonprofit Up Together. They are providing $500 a month to 300 families. Michael Tubbs, chair for the Mayors for Guaranteed Income and former mayor of Stockton, states, "What we've seen from these pilots is that people don't stop working. People are just able to negotiate the type of work conditions they can tolerate. People don't get lazy. People actually become more productive and are able to pay for childcare or to get their car fixed or do the things necessary to get to work. People are able to leave part-time jobs and work a full-time job." It's amazing what a little financial stability can do. Right now in Alameda County, a UBI program called Rise Up Alameda is in the process of being launched, and hopefully we'll continue to see more UBI programs in the future. So by providing financial stability, stable housing, collaborative partnerships, and innovative funding solutions, we are creating pathways to economic security and opportunities for all residents. Now, here we go. We'll just continue on, and we'll get better. So as we move past a post-pandemic future, it's crucial to address mental health challenges and substance abuse issues, especially facing different age groups, including youth, no surprise there, right, young adults, and our seniors. The COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated existing mental health issues and contributed to a rise in substance abuse among various demographics. Many young people have experienced increased levels of stress, anxiety, depression, and loneliness since the pandemic. These mental health challenges contribute to increased risk of substance abuse as a coping mechanism. And moving on to seniors, this population has also faced unique mental health challenges during the pandemic. Increased social isolation, health challenges, concerns about health and safety, and grief over the loss of loved ones have impacted their mental well-being. Seniors may turn to substance abuse as a way to cope with these challenges, especially if they have the lack of access to appropriate mental health. I'm going to let you look at this slide for just a second. I'm not going to go over it all. It's a pretty strong slide, though, especially when you read the last one that says suicide is the second leading cause of death among people aged 10 to 14. It's just heartbreaking. So I am happy to say that there are a diverse array of innovative strategies being employed to address mental health in the East Bay. Okay, yes, I wanted to make sure I had that there. First, tech-enabled mental health services are revolutionizing access to care by leveraging digital platforms and telehealth solutions, giving individuals access to mental health support conveniently and confidentially. School-based programs provide essential mental health support to young people. Counseling service, peer support groups, and mental health education are being implemented in schools to address the well-being of students. Nonprofits such as Danville's Teen Esteem go into our schools and talk with their teens about the struggles they are facing, along with the solutions they can access. Teens are invited to reach out to them if they need help. I sat in a classroom for one of their presentations, and I was incredibly impressed by and moved by how they were able to reach through to our teens. I only wish they would have had that when I was a teenager. My path might have been a little smoother. They covered me on almost everything except for sexting, thankfully, because they didn't have that back then. Phew! Okay. So community-based solutions are vital for addressing, whoops, I went too fast, vital for addressing mental health challenges in diverse populations throughout the East Bay. Nonprofits like La Clinica de la Rosa and East Bay Asian Local Development Corporation for culturally competent mental health services tailored to the needs of specific communities. These organizations provide counseling, support groups, and outreach to programs to ensure that we're right on time, to ensure that everyone has access to the care they need. And each of these initiatives are working together to address mental health challenges, and nonprofits can play a critical role in supporting these efforts through collaboration, advocacy, and resource mobilization. Together, we can create a more resilient and supportive community where everyone has access to the mental health care they need. I have a couple examples. This is Connections House. They're based in Concord, and it's a welcoming community where adults recovering from mental illness come to rebuild their lives. Participants share ownership and responsibility for the success of the organization. The underlying premise is that each member can sufficiently recover from the effects of mental illness to lead a personally and satisfying and productive life. Recovery is achieved at Connections House through work and work-mediated relationships, which are proving to be restorative and provide a firm foundation for growth, self-respect, and individual achievement. And then you guys help with this. In 2018, CASA of Contra Costa County was awarded a $108,000 impact grant from Impact 100, and that was to pilot online telephone mental health program for foster youth. And as a result of that pilot, they were awarded a $1 million grant to expand the program. So yay for Impact 100. You guys did that, right? That's pretty amazing. All right, so how can you get involved? Well, stay in the loop. You can subscribe to newsletters for your favorite nonprofits, and if you're on the grant committee, subscribe to their newsletters. You can donate, volunteer, and post about them on social media. If you just do a post and saying, I love Teen Esteem, they went to my kid's school today, and this was the impact, you'll help spread awareness and help them raise their visibility, and you'll never know who might need to see that resource. So share on social media. And then, make sure nonprofits know about the Impact 100 grants. Get involved in an Impact 100 committee. Recruit additional Impact 100 members. More members equals greater impact. So I invite you to step all the way in. And I hope that you find your own love story. Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much. Aren't we lucky? We got somebody with all this background that's really going to help us out so much on our board. Just thrilled with that. And speaking of one of the issues you were talking about, especially with seniors, we've got Caitlin Sly here to talk about the impact of the grant that we gave for breakfast bag programs in 2022. So Caitlin, thanks so much for coming and joining us.
I think I can learn how to operate this. Well, thank you all so much for having me. As Jane mentioned, I'm Caitlin Sly, Executive Director with Meals on Wheels Diablo Region, and a lot of the things that you were talking about just really hit home for what we're seeing. We serve Contra Costa County, but the needs and the issues facing seniors are the same. Actually, with our recent point in time count, seniors were the fastest growing of the unhoused population and the biggest proportion of first-time homeless folks. And so if you can imagine being 65 or older and it being your first time experiencing homelessness, it's just awful in so many ways. But I'm here tonight to give you a bit of an update from when you all were so generously funded us to expand our breakfast bag program in 2022. And you were very generous to give us a $25,000 grant so that we could reach out to, we had a small pilot and we wanted to expand to different communities within our service area so that we could meet the needs of more seniors. But just to give you a little bit of background, I know some of you are new, some of you may not remember, it's been a while. Meals on Wheels Dablo region really is much more than meals. We provide a coordinated care approach to really address a lot of the different services or a lot of the different needs that seniors in our community have. And so in addition to our home delivered meal program, we also have breakfast bags. We have a grocery bag program for seniors that are able to cook for themselves but can't get out to get to a food pantry or a food bank distribution. We also have cafes where seniors can come and have lunch together. So that is as much the social aspect is important as well as the healthy lunch. We also have exercise classes and nutrition classes. All of our services are designed to serve our mission that is to keep older adults living independently for as long as possible. I think for many of us, it is not the future that we strive for to live in assisted living. Obviously, it's there for us when we need it, but we really believe that by supporting all the needs of our older adults that they'll be able to live independently, and having exercise classes and nutrition education really helps folks stay active and healthy and able to live independently longer. We also do that with fall prevention, so we'll go into the home and install grab bars, railings, those kinds of things to help keep the home safe, as well as do classes in the community that teach balance and those kinds of skills to help prevent falls. And then we also have companionship programs, so friendly visitors, callers, and helpers run errands for seniors or spend an hour hanging out. We saw some of those mental health challenges that seniors are facing, and a lot of that comes from the isolation that we all experienced during the pandemic. But really, the seniors we serve are isolated all the time. They live alone, and they need someone to just spend time with. And then we also do case management. So for our seniors that are facing eviction or need referrals to counseling services, we're able to either connect them with other services in the area or sometimes provide an emergency one-time payment to help them cover that rent so they can stay in their place and not become unhoused. And then we also have an outreach program where we go into some of the most remote, underserved communities and try to connect folks who are completely isolated and not connected to the resources that they need, and not just our resources, but all resources of all the nonprofits in our area that can help support them and their needs. So the breakfast bag program, for those of you who don't remember, it really started because we saw a need during the pandemic where the one meal that we delivered each day, our seniors were taking it and eating a little for lunch, eating a little for dinner, and then saving a bit for to take at night with medications. And so that really broke our heart because it's supposed to be just one meal. It's supposed to be only a third of your daily nutrition. And so to see them rationing it out like that was really heartbreaking. And so we knew that we needed to create a program for our most food insecure, most low income clients who really needed that extra food and were relying on just us for their meal every day. And so by starting the breakfast bag program, we deliver a bag's worth of 5 breakfasts, but it's really stuff that people can eat anytime. So hard-boiled eggs, string cheese, fresh fruit. We even have some veggies and some oatmeal, some snackable salads and sandwiches. So stuff that really people can eat throughout the day as a snack, and it's also perfectly light and healthy for the folks that we serve, and has become a very popular program. And so with your support, we were able to provide an additional more than 45,000 meals as compared to the prior year that reached over 100 additional seniors And it really has an impact not only on their food insecurity, they don't have to wait to see, worry about where their next meal is going to come from, but it also has an impact on their diet and their health. So 82% reported that it improved their diet, and 89% said it reported their health. So this is just the additional support that you all were able to provide, but overall, last year, we delivered almost 100,000 meals through this program. And we were really able to do that by taking your support and leveraging that to be able to expand. And we delivered those 100,000 meals to over 680 individual seniors throughout our service area. So it's been a growing program, and we really couldn't have done it without your support. And we really were able to secure, with the funding that you all provided, other funding from different sources. And I know that's one of the goals of this group, is how can one infusion of a donation help us grow and proof of concept and show that that it's worth others investing in. So we were able to get some COVID stimulus funds from Contra Costa County to help expand that program more. And then we were also able to get some grants from the Los Medanos Health Area and Kaiser Diablo, which are now supporting this work and really making it sustainable. So it's had a huge impact on the people that we serve, and we could not thank you all enough for helping us do that. And really, without your support, we wouldn't have been able to get things going. So just want to thank you for having me, and I'm happy to answer any questions or provide any more information if you're interested. Yeah.
First of all, thank you for being here very much. This was wonderful to see how you turned our resources into a real expansion. Two questions, please. Many of us know about Meals on Wheels, and I certainly have, and it sounds different, much more expansive than the traditional concept where so many of us know you deliver a meal, how wonderful that is. Somebody says, hello, I know you, are you doing okay? End of story. This is a much more expansive set of services, so I have two questions. Is this something unusual within the world of Meals on Wheels? If I were to look at Meals on Wheels in LA or in Monterey, would I see something similar? And do you do some of this work, like mental health services, through referrals to partners? Or are these services that your healthy yoga class, your mental health, how do you do that?
Sure, good questions. So to answer your first question, we are pretty unique in the Meals on Wheels space. Meals on Wheels Diablo region has a lot more supportive services than most, but some Meals on Wheels are doing, friendly visitors, friendly callers, those kinds of things. Every Meals on Wheels is different. So they all have a different menu of services. Many are attached to a senior center themselves, so some of them have that. But we are unique in the large scope of supportive services that we have. To answer your second question, the services on that wheel, we provide ourselves. So we have volunteers and staff that we have trained to go out into the community and do the exercise classes. We have staff that visit with seniors, and we have volunteers that we've trained to, provide that companionship. But when it comes to the more beyond companionship, but really needing mental health services, that's where we look to partners. So we might refer to, like, we have a senior peer counseling program in our county. We have other nonprofits that provide free mental health services. And so we really try to do what we can do in-house and refer out to our partners. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. I'll just attest that when we've read grant requests coming in from a variety pack of actually probably almost every Meals on Wheels around the area, there is no comparison to the Meals on Wheels Diablo group. That you guys, you run an amazing organization, and Caitlin at the helm is really pretty wonderful. Carol, well, maybe we can catch up afterwards. I think you had a question. Sorry about that. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Terry, who's going to talk a little bit about the grant process and hopefully stimulate a little interest in wanting to volunteer.
Okay, great. All right, can everyone hear me? Good. So as you can see, every year we have donated more money, which is thrilling. And I'd love for us to be able to donate enough money that we choose one nonprofit from each of 5 focus groups, which actually some of the impact groups are able to do. So just take that into your mind and think about all the friends you have that might be wonderful additions to our organization. Also, if you meet anybody who is just moving to the area, now that we're back at meeting in person, Impact is a great way to just get right in there, find out what's going on in the community, and meet a lot of other like-minded, wonderful women. So a little plug there. So as you can see, we have donated to lots of different organizations, and they've all been as inspiring as you've just heard about. I think through our process of groupthink, we do a really good job of spending your money to support really great nonprofits. Let's see. Great. So as you can see, even though we give $100,000 or sometimes $50,000, or as last year, a $100,000, a $50,000, and a $37,000, that money really is able to expand and allow organizations to really attract more funding. So that, we just love seeing this. And you may see only 3 up here. There's actually, our impact grants are 2 years, and so we don't even know the full extent of the impact until 2 years is after. So the Impact 100 grant after Reading Buddy program went to Science Education, CRS, and I talked to them recently, and they are getting more money in, but we won't have any idea of how much more until their grant is actually over towards the end of this year. So as you can see, it's pretty impressive how much money gets brought in. And now for the sort of the meat of our organization in the grant cycle. And actually, raise your hand if you have been on the grant committee before. And raise your hand if you have signed up for the grant committee for this year. So for people who haven't been on it, you can see there's a lot of returning interest because it is so satisfying to be on the grant committee. You get to hear about really creative ideas. And one of the hard parts is narrowing it down to your semifinalists, and well, first narrowing it down to we're gonna ask to submit a whole proposal, and then narrowing it down to semifinalists, and then narrowing it down to finalists. And often the choice within the finalists is really hard to make. So another plug to get more members. It would be really great if we could give each organization, think of the impact we would have had on Meals on Wheels if we could have given them $100,000. So anyway, and Dennis on Wheels too, that's right, that's right. So in January, we contacted 270 nonprofits. So if anyone here knows of a nonprofit that somehow was not contacted by us, that's in Contra Costa or Alameda County, be sure to let us know. You can email us at grants@Impact100 East Bay. because we really want to put out as wide of a net as we can and get as many ideas. And even the organizations that may not progress to the next levels, their exposure is quite good because we've got between 20 and 30 people probably on the grants committee who will hear all about the nonprofits, and they have friends that they'll tell about the nonprofits, and different people have different passions, and so it really helps spread the word. So be sure, really, if you know of nonprofits, let us know. So we contacted 270 nonprofits, both with snail mail and with emails, and then we did information sessions on how to submit an LOI and what we're looking for, and we had 71 nonprofits attend those. And there are probably more nonprofits than just the 71 because we have so much information on our website that even if a nonprofit didn't make it to an informational session, they were referred to the website, and all that information is there. Then in late March, actually this year, it's March 23rd, and if you signed up for the grants committee already, you should have gotten an email from me with the important dates. And if you didn't, be sure to sign up on the board there. I had people who have already signed up not sign up the board because then there wouldn't be room for anybody else. So anyway, be sure to either contact me, send an email to grants, or sign up on the board there. We want you. And I really do think sometimes we walk into the LOI meeting, which is March 23rd from 9:30 to 12:30, and you go in there after you've read your group of LOIs with your favorite ones, and you're sure that everyone will have the same favorite ones as you do, and you find out that everyone kind of looks at it differently. And through discussion, I often end up changing my mind. And that's really what you want. We want a really fruitful discussion about who we're going to invite to do a whole grant proposal. And then we have another meeting, and that one is May 11th, where we have read the full grant proposals and looked at the financials. And that's another plug for we need a treasurer and more people on the financial committee because they really do an amazing job to help us figure out, can this organization really handle an influx of $100,000? So after that meeting, we decide semifinalists, and that usually is 5 to 6 nonprofits, and we go and have site visits. And we really get to meet the executive directors, see how the whole profit works, and from there we choose our finalists. So it's we're very intensive about who we choose and how we choose it. So it's if I have one regret, it's that it puts a lot of work on the nonprofits just to apply. But it does mean that we are really, really serious about spending our money as effectively as we can. So let's see if I missed any of my bullet points here. No, I don't think I have. Just to give an example of how satisfying it is, a number of us went to Biotech, who won the 100,000 Impact Grant, their 30-year celebration on Saturday. And we heard from 2 people who had been through the program whose stories were really inspiring and how the program really ended generational poverty. They were able, through the biotech program, to get jobs that actually supported not only themselves but their parents sometimes, and then they talked their siblings into going. One woman had her child going through Biotech Now, and it really did just totally do what we hoped, which was end generational poverty. So hopefully that was a really good plug for getting involved in the Grants Committee, and if not the Grants Committee, if membership is your thing, then get involved in membership. This is really I was brought in by Riffy, who's another co-chair of grants, and I didn't know an organization like this existed. And I came from a culture, a family where you gave money, so I was used to that. But you know, when you give drips and drabs here and there, unless you have a relationship with a nonprofit, you really don't see the impact that it makes. And one of the things that's so satisfying about this group is you really get to see the impact and hear about it at our events. So now I'm going to introduce Stephanie Shaw. There you go.
Thank you, Jerry. I love being on the grants committee, and yet nothing happens unless there's members. So here we are. Okay, so I first joined Impact in 2018 because I was in a global role. I wanted to retire, and I said, you know, we could solve world hunger and world issues, but I want to reconnect back in the local communities, reconnect with the 30 nonprofits that I've been vice president of philanthropy for with National Charity League, and Cindy Stoddard, who actually just rejoined Impact, she was the one that said, I think Impact 100 is for you, and she invited me to the grant celebration. We're a very inclusive organization, so any event, anything up here except voting, all guests are welcome. So I just wanted to put that plug in there for inviting guests, friends, families, just to see what everybody else has done. So, and Kathy, I know that Jane is ecstatic. I could be like super ecstatic. I'm so happy that you're going to be the co-chair for membership. She has so many great ideas and will bring a lot of energy and connections as well. So I'm going to get started. This is going to be pretty interactive tonight because it's the last 20 minutes of our meeting, and we got a lot of stuff to do. So I need help. Okay, so when I talk about reconnecting, when we looked at, post-pandemic, this is a great way for us to get all reconnected. And so we have a lot of new things that we're doing based on member feedback and the ability and interest from our nonprofits to get us more involved in helping them. So you'll see that we are going to continue our Taste Of events. People go, Taste Of, what is that? Well, Taste Of means that we want to be giving you a little sampling of everything that Impact 100 does. So we'll be having these events. It's all wine and hors d'oeuvres, lots of fun, and we get down to better understanding what some of the community issues are, what some of those great project ideas and creative solutions are out there but remain unfunded because we can't do the $500,000 of 5 Impact grants that Terry was telling us about. And it also talks a little bit about what it is that we do because they get to read through some of these ideas, have a discussion. So it gives a little taste of all those items that I just mentioned. Sue Schwartzman, right here, was the brainchild of creating this. So I welcome all ideas. She's a fabulous facilitator. She's going to be doing our one on Saturday that Melissa Stevens and I are co-hosting up at her beautiful home in Walnut Creek. And so I don't have the sign up for it, but if you want to come on Saturday, there are some openings because she has a very nice home. So we have lots of room and would love to have you come. You can come as a member, a new member, a guest, somebody that's just interested in learning a little bit more, reconnecting with other like-minded philanthropic women. So 2 to 4, we'll give you the address and please join us. The other thing is connecting with others. So our target is once a quarter, we're going to have volunteer events and or a social event. And when I say volunteer events, about half of our members have signed up to be a volunteer because for some of you, you may not know, we don't require anything else but $1,000 to join and hopefully to vote. mentioned, we're a collective women's organization, and we feel like collecting and reconnecting with each other post-pandemic is really, really important. And so I'm going to get your feedback on the volunteer for nonprofit services that we can do with both our past grant recipients as well as some new ones that are members of projects. All right? Oh, and then lastly, just to help us stay connected, because you might go, who's that really nice lady that I met, but I don't remember how to, I didn't get her email or contact information. We have newsletters that come out once a quarter, and actually our next one is going to come out soon, like Monday, so I got to get writing. We have a member directory, and so what we do is we keep it on a secure area so that we can't float it around for solicitors or anything like that. So what we're going to do in that newsletter is give you a link to that secured network. You need to join with sign in as the email of what you signed up at Impact 100 for. If you don't remember, or you click on the link and it says access not granted, send a note and I'll tell you what the one is. Or Jackie Welch is calling. She is going to be, I'll talk about that in a second. So, member directory, look for the newsletter. You'll get access to everybody that said, yes, I'd like to be included with my contact information. So, another way to connect. We are reinvigorating our member spotlights. And so I think Debbie Vargas had identified with Jackie Welch, one of our founding members, that she is, a great lady. She thinks a lot of us need to get to know better. So Joanne Hughes in the back is helping us edit all of these to make sure that they read so well. She does her magic. And that will also be in the newsletter. And Jackie was going to be here tonight, but something must have caused her not to be able to. So anyway, look for that in the newsletter too. Okay, so here's our first interactive part. We have all these great nonprofit organizations that have all submitted volunteer opportunities. So instead of me picking which ones I thought you guys might want, I really want to do this informal show of hands for each one of these areas. So the instructions are simple. Vote for 2 large group volunteer. Vote for 2 small groups. And I'm going to walk through what each of the opportunities are. And then I'm going to finish the large group and I'll ask people to, who wants to vote for this one. Maybe Jane can help me count up really quick. And then we'll vote for each one in the top 2. Then I'll reach out to those organizations to get it scheduled. So the first one is Habitat for Humanity. We just completed, thanks to Elizabeth Andreessen and Jane, she helped coordinate it in January, building for the Habitat for Humanity, for those of you that are not familiar with what they do. Lots of great interest. I think we had 15 women sign up for it. It was fabulous. Well, they're starting a new build, so from the beginning to the end in May, they're going to do another reach out to us to see if we're able to do that. And it could be almost monthly after that, but the first one will be in May. The second one is, so you have to be able to, do hammering and some stuff like that. So, not a test job. The Community Resources for Science is a past grant recipient, and they have some really cool things that they do where they have a day of science, and they have judging that happens and things like that. There's a hands-on kind of activity that they wanted to have our members volunteer for in order to help host some of these different booths and help get it all set up and stuff for them. That's going to be during the school year, so it happens sometime maybe between March and early June. They're very open for us helping them to select that date.
Debbie, why don't you say where each of those are located for people?
Located?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, in Oakland. Is that true?
Community resources.
Yard work, this is a physical thing where you go to the actual homes of the clients that need help, and you could do leaf, raking and a little bit of yard work and stuff like that. And of course, husbands can come too. So, that's their jam. So those are the 3 different groups, and you'll see there's a couple different activities underneath. So, any other questions, or I'm going to ask for people to do you can vote twice. So, Habitat for Humanity. Who doesn't want to vote? 19? Okay. CRS. All right, Meals on Wheels. Very close. Okay, thank you very much. All right, individual and small group. The reason why I split these out is because some of these are just on your own individual time, or if you want to bring a friend, some of these can be, a small group of 1 or 2 or 3 people. Youth homes, that's a new one. It came out of our learning communities that Sue and Ann Rickson facilitated for us over the last year. And it was all around youth and mental health and stuff like that, fostering youth. And so this youth homes actually has a thrift store in Danville, Pleasant Hill. Thank you, Pleasant Hill. And they require sometimes 2 3-hour shifts, so up to 6 hours, and then they ask that to be done in a month. So that one, you just have to make sure you're available to be able to do that. And they work, I think, Monday through Saturdays. Meals on Wheels, there's actually a couple different things there. This is where you actually go out and visit with the, or deliver the meals and or visit. So the first one is individual or pairs that you would do during the morning, weekdays. And then the other one is the friendly visiting or calling, and that's one, visit per week, or, calling just to check in with somebody like that. So it doesn't have to be on-site or driving, it could actually just be phone calls too. And then the last one is Biotech Partners, which is also a past grant recipient. And they want to be able to do 2 different things. One is the mock interview piece, where they think late March, early April. And I don't remember a lot of detail around that, but I think it's to help.
For their internships.
Thank you.
The 11th graders get an internship in 11th and 12th grade, and so it's helping them interview for the internships.
Okay, so it's actually doing the interviews, not mock. Okay, all righty. So probably the last two for that one. Okay. All right, thank you so much. That's super helpful. I appreciate it. Okay, so this, if you want to take a picture, you can. If not, there's a link at the bottom, but all you have to do is remember impact100eastbay.org. And then it's pretty easy navigation on the website to be able to go find the different places. Events will always have a calendar of all the upcoming events. So the one that still needs to be scheduled is the membership challenge. It's an appreciation event, and for those of you that weren't at the October event, what we say is this membership challenge is to be able to bring new members to the table, either by sponsoring a new member, donating 2,000 or more to be a change maker, or to refer a member. And usually when you sign up, there's a, did somebody refer me? If they put your name in there, then you'll be invited to the event. We already have a lot of people coming to that event. Nancy's home, fabulous. It's got a saloon in her backyard, and it's a sight to see. So she can have tons of people come, so the more the merrier. Alrighty? Now, our big reveal. We're going to do it a little bit differently this year because we had some generous donations called the Changemaker Grant. So we've had both Kay Lilja and Sarah Enner donate substantial amounts, and then lots of you that said, hey, I want to be a change maker and donate $1,500 or more. If you designated that to go toward the donation for our grant, that goes into that pot too. So thank you all for doing that. All right, I'm going to start with the dollar sign because maybe Melissa, I'll ask you to come up. This year we're doing the total grant dollars. Last year and all the years prior to that, we always did total members because everybody donated $1,000, but because we have additional donations coming in, we wanted to highlight the amount of donations. Stacy is coming up. She's our technology guru. Goddess. So she's going to start at the end because, you know, we
That's
don't have little
self-proclaimed.
single dollars and tens of dollars. So she's at the end with 3 zeros. They don't make commas, so we don't have a comma. Kathy Young is putting her to work together for bring new members. We all can bring new members through till July 1st. So,
Yeah, I think at this point, that's the end of prepared remarks. I just, right? Oh, okay. Okay, I'll hold this.
all right, okay. Thank you. All right, so our total for the 8 years, by the end of this year, we will have donated over $1 million. So the impact that we're having to the local communities will just continue to grow and grow and grow. And we were trying to figure out a theme to be able to do, and so we're going to do two things. At the end of the remarks, and Jane's going to finish or close it up for us, we want you all to come up so that we can take a group picture. Thank you, Dewey, for always being here to take pictures for us, so thank you. And then we are going to ask, if you would like, you can pick up a packet of California poppies because it signifies a couple things for us. One is the poppies are local, they're California, and they grow rampant everywhere. And the other thing is they keep proliferating. And so if you plant a seed, then there'll be a couple more that grow after that and grow after that. And so we wanted to give you the poppies so that you will remember the impact that you're having with the $1,000 donation that you're making or more. And we really, really appreciate your membership, and we all look forward to seeing you at future events, and we just thank you. All righty.
So, come on up, let's grab a picture, and then don't forget, before you leave, please do some sign up on some volunteer work, and I just want to personally thank all of you. I'm just stunned, overwhelmed, 75, 100,000, a 75,000, and a $34,000 grant. You guys, we should be so proud. What an amazing program. Okay, come on up.
Everybody can come up, everybody.
Knees are not gonna.